to share with you ground rules so everybody's clear about what to expect from us and from you. I'm going to share a few success stories from our clients who have applied these two steps that you're going to learn
Dos.
today. And then after that, I'm going to
Ya,
start
ya.
breaking down the each one of these steps. At the end, if we have time, I'm going to take a few questions and I'm going to give you an invitation as well if you want to continue this work with us. So the two steps is number one, understand your unique toxic generational patterns so it doesn't affect your parenting today. And number two, how to start healing or changing these patterns so you become the parent you want to be and raise secure children and have the relationship you want to have with your kids. Otro, por favor. You'll feel calmer and more in control. You'll be proud of how you handle challenging moments. Your kids will feel safer and more loved, and they will see you as the parent who listens and cares. This
Good
is
teacher
your
type.
chance to break the cycle and give your kids the love and peace they deserve. Federico, ¿hay manera de mute everybody that so they're able to unmute themselves for now? Is there a way to mute
Sí,
everybody? Okay. And then we can chat on the mic in a little bit. But for now, if you could please keep the conversation in the chat, that would be great.
desmuteate.
Hello? Hello?
Ya.
Okay. Otro, por favor. This class is for you if, number one, you are a parent or a caregiver who wants to have a healthier family dynamic. Number two, you are open to reflect on your own generational pattern from compassion and self responsibility. Number three, you want to learn more about how your childhood shaped the way you care for yourself and others. And number four, you want to break free from toxic generational patterns and raise children who feel safe and close to you. Before we go to the next slide, todavía no, Federico, for the 48 of you, I want to be clear about what this class is and what this class is not. This class is parent centric. It's focused on your reactions. It's focused on your emotions. It's focused on your personal experience parenting your kids. This class is not child centric. Child centric is tools and strategies on what to do with the kids in those moments. It is focused on your own reactivity and your own patterns. So if you're expecting a child-centric class, this class is not for you and you can leave right now. Or you can stay if you want to improve your own reactions and become a secure parent. So I just wanted to be clear from the beginning so you know what to expect and decide if this is the class that you want to be in. Otro, por favor. The disclaimer is that the stories and the stories and testimonials that you're going to see throughout this class is the results our clients got once they apply these two steps that you are going to learn today. This is not a guarantee that you will get the same results because it all depends on the effort that you are going to put into making things work, into exercising and integrating the two steps that you're going to learn today. And the second disclaimer is that this class is for informational purposes only. This is not coaching. This is not therapy. I'm not a therapist. I'm not certified parenting coach. So this class is for just gaining great information and awareness. It's not therapy or mental health advice. Otro, por favor. So this is how we're going to break it down. Part one, teaching. Part two, if you want to apply these two steps with our direct support, we will let you know how you can have that support. At the end, we are going to have an invitation for whoever wants to book a free one on one call with one of our members here in HIC Parenting, one of our experts. And if that is you, you will know at the end how to book this free one-on-one call. So, part one, teaching, part two, opportunity to book a one on one call if you need direct support. And part three, I'm going to take a few questions if we still have the enough time in this session. Otro, por favor. But before we start, who am I? Who are you to come and give us these 2 steps to break toxic reactions? I'm very curious for all 52 of you. Who is new to HIC parenting? Who is new to Marcela Collier? If you just started to follow us, say yes, I'm new, or my spouse dragged me here. I don't know who you are. That happens a lot too. Say me, me, me. Okay, Maria, Graciela, Lauren, welcome, welcome. I'm so honored that you chose to be here today, even though you're new to us here in HIC parenting. Okay, so for the ones who are new and the ones who aren't, I am Marcela Collier. I'm a certified parenting coach, former therapeutic care provider, and founder of HIC Parenting Education Agency. HIC Parenting is an agency. We are a team of coaches who has served 14,151 clients through our coaching services and products in breaking free from reactions they don't want to see in their parenting, bringing peace to their parenting, and raising secure children. Our specialty in HIC parenting is parent centric. We work on with the parent on the parent. We don't work on fixing the kids. We work on helping the parent with the parent. So that's what we do. And we've been doing this the last 5 years. You know me from TikTok and Instagram. That's great. Otro, por favor. Now, who am I in terms of as a person? I am a mom of 8-year-old twins. One of them is autistic. If you are an autism parent, said me. If you are a neurodivergent parent, if you're raising a neurodivergent child, I get you because I'm raising one. I am neurodivergent as well myself. So if you're a neurodivergent person, I get it. I am there with you. And I did foster care for 10 years. I dedicated the last 12 years since I've been a mom to learning how to break free from generational patterns. In the process of it, I became a therapeutic provider, working with children with high behavioral needs. And in the process of it as well, I became a certified parenting coach. And up until now, I served many parents like you break free from toxic reactions and raise secure children with peace. I have to say that I didn't grow up with respectful parenting. I grew up with a chancla. If you are Latino, said me, I'm Latino. Did you grow up with a chancla, with a wooden spoon, with a belt? I grew up with all of that, but I decided to change the cycle for my family, for the emotional health of my children, and I did it. And I'm very happy to share with you how I did it and the steps that I took, which are basically the steps that I teach my clients as well. Otro, por favor. Not Latino, but the same. Cinto chancla. One of those clients is Susan. She's a Chinese mother who came to HIC parenting because she was stuck in the cycle of yelling. Yell and regret. She used to yell, feel very guilty, and yell again, and she was stuck in that cycle. She used to suffer from anxiety, and parenting was taking a toll on her. And this is what her testimonial is after implementing the 2 steps that you are going to learn today. Now, she implemented those 2 steps with our direct coaching help for a few months. And how I said, if you feel that you want to have that direct guidance to help you on the application of those two steps that you're going to learn today. At the end, I could tell you how you can book your free call. So let me show you the testimonial of Susan because I want you to know that it's not something that just worked for me. It has worked for Susan and many other parents, and I'm confident it could work for you as well. Por favor. Where were you at emotionally in your parenting before you enrolled in HIC parenting, and where are you at right now?
So right when I decided to sign up for HIC parenting, I was kind of in a place where I thought I had collected a lot of information on how I should be parenting. I thought I knew all of the tips, how to approach things, but I found myself doing my best and then majority of the time at the end of the day or at a weak moment, just running into those same bad habits and allowing myself to just kind of blow up or, kind of yell at my kids and then feeling the remorse afterwards and, collecting the information online through social media just wasn't enough for me. And I needed some real custom and nuanced support. When I'm looking at myself now after the whole program, it's like a weight has been lifted. And personally, I feel like I am the person that I should be, and all of the things that were holding me back, like even anxiety, which was a big thing for me personally, I have seriously been lifted.
So she said she came because even though she had a lot of information from the things she read online and the books she read and social media, she still felt it wasn't enough. Do you feel the same way that you have a lot of information, a lot of tools, a lot of scripts, but it almost seems that it's not enough for you? Well, that was Susan's story. And that's why she decided, hey, I think I need more than just child-centric scripts and cookie cutter tools on how to fix my kids. I want to work on myself. I want to work on my reactions. And that's why he came to HIC Parenting because we are a parent-centric coaching agency. In today's society, that's an understatement. What's an understatement? If very overwhelming, too much information, it feels like just skill rather than actual information overload. Yeah, that's true. So that's basically what we were able to do for Susan. She got just two simple steps, and we helped her cut out the overwhelming information out there and just focus on two things that really move the needle in her own reactions. And that's the transformation that she got. Otro, por favor. My toddler doesn't fit into the cookie cutters. I get it, especially if you have neurodivergent kids like Valerie, the one you see, the one circled in red. She has an autistic son of 5 years old, and routine was a struggle, meaning like brushing teeth, going, putting his jammies on, anything related to the routine. He used to have big meltdowns, run under the bed, and she was running in fumes. And sometimes she found herself yelling at him. Once she came to coaching in HIC parenting, and she allowed us to walk her through the application of these two steps that you're going to learn today in this class. She said that she started feeling a lot more at ease, and her son started to lean towards her a lot better. And the meltdowns got better. And even so that the school staff and his own therapist noticed it and told her about it, that he almost seems like a different child. And not because she changed them, she changed her son, but because she changed the way she relates to him. And she did it once she applied the two steps that you're going to learn today. And with Valerie, many other families who come to HIC parenting have amazing transformation just from the application of these two steps. They did it with our direct help in coaching. Okay, otro por favor. So before we start, I have a surprise for you. All of you who are live will be able to claim this gift. This is, remember, I told you this is a parent centric class. And if you still wonder, I wanted to have tools on to work with the kids. I wanted to have ways to help them with their emotions. I want help with the kids. I got you. We have a free live attendee bonus that you can get on this class. And to claim it, all you have to do is come be with us until the very end. And at the very end, I will tell you how to claim it. This is our coping strategies guide that helps our kids manage their emotions, providing tools at their level to help them process and manage those emotions so they don't show it with aggression. If you go to our website, you can get this product for $57, but because you're here with us, you will get it free as a live bonus attendee at the end of this class. So stay to the end to claim this bonus. Otro, por favor. So let's start breaking down step one. And this is the point, the point of the class that I recommend you to get your notes, get your notebook, your pen, and we are going to get in the zone of learning and as well experiencing. So step number one, understand your unique toxic generational pattern so it doesn't affect your parenting today. And I want to highlight generational pattern because the things that the reactions that you have at the moment that go against your values that you don't want to have but you still have, perhaps it could be the yelling, perhaps it could be the spanking, perhaps it could be the threatening with punishment or the bribes. All those reactions are not your fault. They are generational. They come in your family DNA and they're passed down from generation to generation. So they're not your fault. And as well, they are your responsibility to break free from them because you don't need to pass it to your kids if you don't want to. And these two steps are going to help you to cut the cord, to break the cycle and raise secure children. So the way to do this is number one, understanding what your generational pattern is. We cannot break what we don't understand. And that's step one. And step two, which is part two of this class, is how to change this pattern, how to make it better. And I'm going to give you 3 steps on, on, on part two of this class. Okay, so let's start with step one. Otro, por favor. Growing up, I was raised, I would say my parents were loving parents, but they were loving parents when they were happy and when they felt okay, when they woke up on the right side of the bed. But when they were angry, when they were overwhelmed, when they were frustrated, when they were sleep deprived, when they had big feelings, they feel scary to me. Sometimes I was spanked. Let me know if you relate to any of this. Sometimes I was yelled at, malcriado, caprichoso, desgraciado. Malcriado is spoiled brat, picky, too much, desagradecido, unthankful. I was loved when they were calm, but when they were angry, it felt really disconnected and I felt fear. I have a question for you. Please type it in the chat or maybe write it in your notebook. If it's in the chat, that would be great so we can get to know each other here. What did your parents or caregivers tell you when they were angry? What did they tell you? Ungrateful was said all the time. My mother was loving when she was drunk. Okay, I'm sorry. Rarely calm. Okay. What did your parents or caregivers tell you when they were angry? Please type it in the chat. And the second question is, how did you feel when they were angry? I don't know anything, nothing, just Knew they were upset and to stay away. Why do you always do this? I don't have a brain. I feel scared. Thank you for sharing. Humiliated. I was ignored. My dad called me stupid. I was called names. Ungrateful. I see Alex, Samantha. They would call me stupid. How do you feel? How do you feel? Do you feel connected? Do you feel disconnected? When they were angry, when they were frustrated, when they were overwhelmed, how do you feel in their parenting? Sad, shut down, disconnected, humiliated, afraid, useless, felt alone. Thank you for all those answers. Because right here, you see that number one, you're not alone. And number two, yeah, we are in a room that most of us relate to. I felt that it was your responsibility. Do you feel responsible to keep your parents peaceful? Were you always scanning the room, looking for when they were going to react to you? Did you feel the responsibility to keep the environment steady, to not rock the boat? Now, let's reflect on the opposite. Do you remember your parents or caregivers being playful or calm? Do you remember that? Maria is thinking. Federico, no, I don't remember. Okay, not with me, rarely, rarely, yes. Not until we were older. I have a question. How did that feel to you? When they were calm and playful, how did that feel to you? Not until remarried, not never playful with my mom. I would not know peace, happy. Okay, happy and calm. Happy. Hmm. I see a lot of you saying, I don't remember them feeling calm and playful. I don't remember my childhood. Are you that person? Like, I'm trying to break my head thinking about how I felt, but I don't know how I felt because I don't remember anything. Is that you? It was a shocker for me. I don't remember much. Trauma many times blocks our memory because if it feels too much for a Leo nervous system to receive that kind of environment, to receive those messages, if it was too scary to bear, many times the brain blocks it out. So not remember your childhood is a trauma response. I remember being ready to leave home. Otro, por favor. Thank you for reflecting. You know what? I want to tell you that you guys are changing your generation because I surveyed you guys, uh, maybe not you, but I surveyed my followers about what they want, what's their biggest desire in their parenting. And I got something like this: to have a close relationship with my children, to be calmer and not react the way my parents did, to have an open, honest communication. I have a question. How would how would the relationship with your parents would have been if that would have been their biggest, deepest desire? Do you think that it would have been differently? So the fact that that's your deepest desire that lets me know that you're on track to break your cycle. You're not in square one. But it is important to zero in what's not working so we are able to change it and keep growing. And that's what we're doing here on this class. You are going to understand what's keeping you in the patterns that you saw growing up, despite your best effort to be different, despite your best effort to change, to show up different to your kids. I believe so of all of you. And on this class, we are going to discover what's that little thing that's keeping you there and how to move forward because you're 6 inches away from goal. You're not too far away. Why? Because you're already aware that you want to change and your desire is is amazing. Your desire lets me know that you're you're you have your eyes on the right target towards the right goal. Otro, por favor. I think you would have been closer and more communicative with them and also more confident. My parents are unable to understand me as an adult. They don't try. If they did, I would feel like everything was fine. Do you fear your children will end up having the same relationship you have with your parents at the moment? Do you fear that? Let me know in the chat. A lot of the parents who enroll in HIC parenting, they tell us that that's their biggest fear. I just want to have a different relationship with my kids. But my reactions are 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 giving me this fear that maybe it will stay the same. It won't if you commit to apply these 2 steps faithfully. So let's keep diving deep on understanding our pattern. Okay? When I became a parent, no, before I became a parent, before I started doing foster care, now my foster son is an adult. He's amazing. He grew up with us. But before I became a parent, I thought I turned out fine. I was a well-rounded adult who could who had a decent way of relating to others, who could keep her emotions in check most of the time. Like I was pretty good before kids. But then I had kids and everything, I don't know what happened. It's like a switch turned on. All the wounds from childhood started flaring up. And then the parent rage and the overwhelm and the frustration starting flaring up through me. And then I started catching myself saying things like, why can't they just listen to me? Or why am I doing wrong? Or why is it wrong with me? Or how come I cannot be calm? It's like a switch of a flip when I became a parent. Did you feel the same way? Nadie me escucha en esta casa. Sometimes I feel like I'm back in my childhood. I feel great about it up until my son's second birthday. I do. What is your default reaction when you don't feel heard by your children? What is your default reaction when you feel triggered? Rage, yelling, angry. Some parents spank, some parents yell, some parents threaten with punishment. What is your default reaction? Yelling, yelling, yelling. Okay, I see it. It was the same for me. Otro, por favor. And then many times after trying and trying and trying my best, trying to meet those expectations that I put on myself that sometimes were kind of too high, I felt so powerless that I shut down. And then I remember entering in this state of, why do I even try? Why do I even try engaging them in playfulness or with choices if they're not going to respond to that anyway? Do you relate to that? Do you shut down after trying and trying? Or is your default initial response the shutdown? What is your initial response? Or maybe you are otro, por favor. Sometimes I feel like I wasn't cut out to be a mom. Please give Selena hugs, love. Or maybe you're feeling the 50-50. Sometimes you are reactive, yelling, snapping, and sometimes you shut down. After receiving 14,151 clients, every time we receive a new client, we survey them on what made you said yes to this coaching process in HIC parenting. And it's usually that they want to change one of three reactive patterns. Let me know which one do you relate to. The first one, we call it the pressure cooker pattern. The pressure cooker pattern is, and by the way, 75% of our clients are in pressure cooker. The pressure cooker pattern is that they've been learning a lot of things in social media, they've been learning a lot of tips. For sure, they are not as reactive as their parents. So they have a certain window of tolerance. And within that window of tolerance, they repeat themselves all day. They repeat a lot. They try to be calm. They try to not get angry. And then they're like little pressure cookers. They build and build steam until that pressure cooker cannot hold up any more steam, any more frustration and overwhelm. And usually by the end of the day, they're yelling and snapping. Is that you? That's the pressure cooker pattern. What happens with these parents is that they are pressure cookers with no valve. The valve is called emotional regulation. They trying to not get angry, trying to be calm is not emotional regulation, it's emotional suppression. It's like you're gaslighting your own self. It's like you're telling yourself, hey, don't be angry, Marcela. They're just little kids. They're just learning to go to the party. Don't get angry. You are dismissing your own emotions. You are not regulating. You are not processing your emotions. You are suppressing them. You're denying them. You're gaslighting yourself. That's why they are pressure cookers with no valve. At some point, they explode. Are you listening to to my thoughts? Am I in your head? If I'm in your head, say me. You're in my head. The second one is the firecracker. And it's not that I'm in your head, Christina, is that I worked with so many parents that I know what those three default responses are by now. So the second thing that clients come to us for is the firecracker pattern. So the firecracker is a parent who they want to be calm, they want to parent their children differently from the way they were raised, but in the trigger moment, they cannot stop themselves. In coaching, sometimes they tell me, Marcela, it feels like there is not a pause button for me. It comes out of nowhere, the yell and the snap. It's like I cannot stop myself. I don't have a chance to stop myself. Is that you? They're kind of little firecrackers. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay, pressure cooker. Your husband is firecracker. A lot of husbands are firecrackers. And then the last one is the stone wall. 70% of the fathers who come to HIC parenting are stonewallers. Let me know if you're a father, if you relate to this. So the stone wall is a parent who wants to set limits, who wants to their kids to be respectful, who wants to discipline their kids, but they don't want to spank them or yell at them, so they feel powerless because they don't have more tools and they shut down. And what they usually do is that like they play with the kids and they engage with the kids, but if there is a little power struggle with the kid sparking up, they hand the kid to the other parent. They hand the kid to the co-parent. Mitch, is that you? Or they shut down. Or if they're alone with the kids and they don't have a way to hand the kid to the other parent, they just let them be. And bedtime is not 8:30. Bedtime could end up being 10:30 or 11 p.m. Not because they wanted to, but because they are in a stonewall, reactive, shutdown pattern. So those are the three: pressure cooker, firecracker, and stonewall. Which one do you relate to? You stonewall and their firecracker. Okay. Okay. You're not alone. 75% of the fathers who come to HIC parenting are stonewallers. And most of the moms are pressure cookers. Okay, pressure cooker. Got it. Otro, por favor. Di Maria, pressure cooker, firecracker at times. Yes, you could, like, there are some parents who bounce back and forth between the three. I want to understand what you think the root of your reactive pattern is. And then I'm going to challenge you. Usually, when parents come to us, they tell us one of these three things. I react this way because my children won't listen. That's number one. Number two, I react this way because I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. Number three, I react this way because I don't have enough tools. Do you relate to any of these three beliefs that parents have of why they're reacting this way? Are these reality? These are beliefs. I lack the patience. All three. Yes, I react this way because I'm irritated. Okay. I don't have the tools. I get dysregulated. I feel disrespected. Okay, because my children won't listen. I don't have enough tools. All three. Okay. So to all of you, I'm going to challenge you because from the challenge there is growth. I'm going to get you out of the comfort zone right now. We don't react because any of these three things. We don't react because any of these three things. It's not because our children won't listen to us or because we are exhausted parents or because we don't have enough tools. All of these three things are outside circumstances. Outside circumstances, what's happening around us has nothing to do with what's the pattern that's happening in us from generations and generations. Let's unveil this. Otro, por favor, Federico. Thank you for hanging with me. I know we are getting challenged right now, but stay with me. And I promise you that you are going to understand your toxic pattern so, so well, and you will know why you're there. Usually, when we place responsibility on outside circumstances, such as it's my kids, is that I don't have tools, there is something missing that I don't have, there is a lacking in me. Or is it because the day is making me exhausted and all these things that are happening in my life that are exhausting me? Usually, what happens when we place responsibility on outside sources, we feel very out of control when we react. We feel like we don't have control over the situation because the, the, the reason, the cause is outside of us. So we may feel this way. We may think these things. I feel like I'm failing. I see my children the way they are reacting, and like I see my own reactions reflecting in the way they respond to me. I feel like I'm incapable. I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I'm not good enough. Do you relate to any of these thoughts? And if not, please let me know in the chat what is your thought. How do you feel after you react to your children in a way that goes against your values? Is your inner voice kind or critical? Yes, not good enough. Completely guilty. Is your inner voice kind or critical? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for working through this with me. Let's move forward. Let's move towards what's the real root and why we are thinking these things. Otro, por favor. This is the reality. Chronic reactivity or shutting down does not come from external factors like your children, like daily busyness, or not having enough tools. It comes from subconscious narratives or beliefs we are not even aware of, downloaded in us in our childhood. I feel like I'm failing. I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm incapable. These three things are not feelings. All these three things are beliefs. Those are beliefs. So if our child is, I remember uh, one mom that I helped last week. When my autistic daughter doesn't calm down with me, I feel like out of tools and capable. It's usually the same, out of tools and capable. I feel like I'm out of tools and I get very, very overwhelmed and I yell. She doesn't yell because her daughter is not calming down. She doesn't yell because her autistic daughter is sensory overloaded and is having a sensory meltdown. She reacts, she yells because she's believing she's incapable, because she's believing she doesn't have what it takes, because she's believing she doesn't have the tools. She's not able to help her daughter. That's what's making her react. So it's not your daughter, your son, and their behaviors. It's not the busyness as well. Busyness makes you tired, but the reaction, the response, the reactivity does not come from your feeling of tiredness. It comes from the belief attached that we attach to it. Okay? Is that clear? If not, please stay because we are going to keep unveiling this. We're going to keep digging into this so it is very clear at the end. It's our inner beliefs of self-doubt. Yes, very clear. Okay, let's move forward. Otro, por favor. So again, these are not feelings, these are beliefs. I feel like I'm not doing enough. It's like I believe that. I feel like no matter what I say, nobody listens. I believe that. Okay. Usually, the parents who have a rooted belief of I'm not enough or I'm not doing enough grew up in very strict environments with high expectations. And when they were kids, they were all the time trying to prove they were enough. They were all the time trying to meet those expectations. And because they were very high, impossible, unrealistic, they were not able to meet those. And it created the belief of, I'm not doing enough. And these are usually people who run like chicken with no head all day, doing and doing and doing and doing and exhausting themselves to beyond the point of their own tolerance to prove they're good enough parents, they're good enough husbands and wives, they're good enough workers, they're good enough. So their reactivity at the end of the day does not come from the child who's refusing to brush teeth, is from proving all day that I'm enough, doing many things, not taking care of myself, not meeting my own needs. And then, of course, at bedtime, I'm so exhausted that there is nothing left of me but to react. All that comes not from the moment your child decides not to brush his teeth, but from your own belief of not good enoughness. Is it true that you're not good enough? No, it is a belief, and it is a belief that may be running your life and your parenting. Otro, por favor. Where do these beliefs come from? Where do they be? Where do they come from? Where do they come from? Okay, so this is like I would say the most academic thing that you're going to find in this class. You can take a screenshot of this. And by the way, if you screenshot it, please post it on your Instagram stories. Tag us at High Impact Club. Let other people know that this class is a good class so they can come and join us. And let's dive into this. Where do beliefs start? Before 7 years old, from 0 to 7 years old, we are in our pre operational stage of development. What does that mean? Our brain is not fully formed, and our prefrontal cortex, which is the area of the brain in charge of us making logical sense of what happens in our lives, is not there yet. So, because it's not there, everything is filtered through our limbic system. Our limbic system is our emotional brain. So, when you were 7 and under, anything that happened to you, you did not make a logical sense of it. Everything was how you felt about it. So, if your parent responded with yelling, you did not say, hey, they're yelling because they're exhausted. No, you filter it through your limbic system. So for you, it was, oh, this feels scary and this feels disconnected, period. Okay. Or let's just say that your your parents spanked you for you hitting your brother or sister. If you are 7 and under, you're not like, hey, they spanked me because they want me to learn to be kind. You don't have that logic yet. Everything is filtered through your limbic system. So you are, oi, I felt pain. This feels scary. I'm feeling disconnected. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling scared. So what happens from at 7, between 7 and 8? You enter your operational stage of development. That's when the prefrontal cortex, which is what makes you give logical sense to things, start. That's when you start developing the logic side of your brain. So, what happens at that age? And pay attention to this because it's really important. You take all the emotional information from the first 7 years of your life and you transform all that information into beliefs. So if the first 7 years of your life felt connected, then possibly the belief system that you're going to create between 7 and 8 years old is I am worthy, I am enough, I am loved, I matter, I am good. Okay? If all that emotional information, and Alex, if you blacked out of most of your early childhood, that still lives in your limbic system, and you will develop still, regardless, those beliefs about self, even if you don't consciously recall those emotional memories. They're there, they're in your limbic system. So, at the other side, if parenting felt scary, it felt disconnected, or if it felt ambivalent, sometimes it felt connected, sometimes it felt scary, sometimes you felt warm and fuzzy and happy with your parents, some other times you felt unloved and you felt confused and you didn't know what kind of parent you were going to wake up to. If that was your first 7 years of life, between 7 and 8, when you start your operational stage of development, possibly you are going to develop these self beliefs. I'm failing, I'm not good enough, I'm incapable, uh, I'm bad. And these beliefs live with you all the way to adulthood, and they come up when you become a parent. How come they remain dormant before you become a parent? Like, I felt like I was a good person before I was a parent, and then easy, because your children directly remind you of who you were growing up. So those beliefs flare up a lot easier with your kids than with your coworkers, than with your neighbors. You can mask your self beliefs with your neighbors and coworkers a lot easier than when with your interactions with your kids. So when you have an interaction with your child and you already believing you're failing, it doesn't matter the tools that you have. It could you could have the best child-centric tools in the world. They would feel to you that they're not enough because you already believe you're failing or you're a failure or you're not good enough or you're incapable. That's why the work we do with our clients is so profound because they come with all these child-centric tools, and when once they start rewiring the way they believe about self and the way they are seeing and witnessing their children's behaviors, they start seeing that their child-centric tools start working because they're not applying them from lack, they're applying them from abundance. Okay. Is this clear? If not, ask your question, unmute, ask your question, or type it in the chat, and we're going to keep moving forward. Otro, por favor. Can this apply to step kids? Yes, I lived it with my foster son for 10 years. Of course, if we are raising children, we will see ourselves through them, even if we didn't birth them. These beliefs about self create feelings, and those feelings are responses and reactions. Again, the beliefs is what creates the feelings, and the feelings is what creates the reaction. Let me give you a comparable. Let's just say a parent who believes they are they are bad when they have boundaries. Because growing up, every time they tried to set a boundary with a caregiver, with an adult, they were yelled at and punished and spanked for being disrespectful. So they grew up believing I am bad when I have boundaries. They believe this. Let's just say that they go with their kid to the store and they tell their kid, hey, we are going to just get groceries. We're not going to get toys today. And then in the middle of aisle 6 at Target, in the toy aisle, the kid forgot about that warning or that reminder and they started whining for a toy. And then the parent, they tried to repeat the instruction, and then the child didn't have it. They were not okay with that boundary, and then they kept on yelling, and now they were on the floor. And then the parents started seeing people with their little cards, the judgy people looking at them. They feel embarrassed. Embarrassment is feel fear of judgment. They fear that judgment, and they just gave in to the child. Okay, take that toy. And then they come out of the store, and then their father calls them, hey, daughter, I need you to come here right now to help me with A, B, or C. And you know you cannot go there yet because you have things to do. But because you believe I am bad when I have boundaries, you feel guilty for setting boundaries and you go there anyway. And then once you go back home to fix dinner, you're so exhausted and you feel like you were everybody's doormat, and by bedtime you're yelling and snapping. So do you see how the beliefs create the feelings create the reality, and it does dictate your choices. Okay? I feel so bad when I set boundaries with my toddler. Samantha, were you allowed to have boundaries growing up? If you weren't, it makes sense why you feel bad when you set boundaries with your toddler. Otro, por favor. Everything is rooted in the beliefs. What about if this parent believed having boundaries is okay and setting boundaries is okay, saying no is okay? Do you think that this parent would have been a yelling parent by bedtime? Possibly no, because they would have respected their needs and they would have had a lot more bandwidth by bedtime because they were not overstretching themselves. Okay? What are we supposed to do when kids are throwing a tantrum because they want something at the store? So if you believe, Sitali, that boundaries are okay and you are good, even when you set boundaries, it doesn't matter the tantrum, you will set that boundary. You will set that boundary, even if that comes with a tantrum, even if that comes with an angry father who calls you ungrateful. Otro, por favor. So, what happens with child centric tools? Are they bad? No, they're good. I mean, in HIC parenting, we have resources to help parents with those child centric tools. But child centric tools without a parent centric process would just lead to more frustration because we will apply those tools from those limiting beliefs, from that scarcity mindset, and from that overwhelm and frustration. Okay? The story of Naomi, when she came to us, she has 3 kids, and she was in the pressure cooker pattern. A matter of fact, she enrolled in a course, I don't know where, with child-centric tools, and for her, it was always a hit or miss because her pattern, her generational pattern was always in the way. Once she came to HIC parenting and we worked through those patterns, through rewiring those patterns, something beautiful happened for her. Let's hear her story. Federico, por favor.
I've been a part of another um, parenting program, and it was a lot of like the words do this, say this, act this way, and I was getting very frustrated because none of it was working for me. Like I was really, really trying, and I knew what I wanted, but I had no clue how to get there. And even with the tools that they were giving me, I was just like, I can't. Like I'm trying to do them, but it's not like my children are not responding the way they say the kids will respond. And I don't know like how to like and it was just a lot of me like, I'm just not doing it right. I'm a terrible mom because they say this works and it's not working. Being able to join this has just been so enlightening for me to be able to understand and just feel the security within myself. That's been the biggest shift, so that I can show up, for them, being able to learn. And I think the biggest key, and this is what I've like told all my friends, like go and learn. It's been so transformational for me. So
yeah. And how do you feel now?
I feel very, I don't know, empowered. I think is the biggest thing for me.
So that was Naomi. She changed her life. And not just her life, but she sent her friends, she sent her sister, and now they're transforming their life by working on themselves, by working on themselves. And how did she start? She started with this class. From this class, she booked a free one-on-one call. At the end, I will tell you how you can do so. In that call, she learned her specific pattern, and then she decided to join us as a coaching client. She was with us for a few weeks. I think the time we recorded this video, she was in week 10. She wasn't even done yet. And and that's basically her process. She changed the trajectory of her parenting, not by learning more child-centric tools, but by gaining a deep understanding of her pattern and how to rewire her pattern. And that's step two of this free class. So stay because we still have ground to cover here. Um, let's go otra vez. Otro, por favor. So let's talk about step two. Who is ready for step two? If you are, said me. Don't fall asleep on me. This is when it gets interesting. So, step two, how to start changing these patterns so we become the parents we want to be and raise secure children. That's what we want, right? And before we start, if you had an aha moment, if you gained deeper understanding of your own generational pattern and the root of it, could you please say, yes, I did? Just talk to me. I just want to make sure that you guys are not just understanding, but getting value out of this free class. Good. Okay, so let's talk about how to change these patterns. We are going to do an exercise, and then after that, I'm going to give you 3 steps, which is basically the 3 steps that we give our coaching clients. Definitely eye-opening. Thank you. You're welcome. Federico. So let's close our eyes. Everybody closing their eyes. Let's tap into when those beliefs started. Close your eyes or be in a comfortable place if you can. If you're driving, close one eye. Don't close the 2 eyes because that would be dangerous. But but then close your eyes. How old were you? How old were you? When you started, when you felt like, when you believed you were failing, you were not good enough, you were incapable, you were bad, you were ungrateful. When you were believing all those things, how old were you? What were you feeling? What were you feeling? Were you feeling anxious to fulfill your parents' expectations? Were you feeling sad that they were not able to see your needs? Were you feeling confused of why they didn't acknowledge your efforts? What were you feeling? What were you needing at that moment, Lauren? If you could, I know you're doing something, but what were you needing? Let's imagine something. Imagine the Maria, the adult, the Di Maria, the adult, the Vanessa, the Lauren, the adult, going to meet Leo Maria, Leo Vanessa, Leo Alice, Leo Carla, and tell her exactly what he or she needs to hear to feel safe, to feel connected. What would it be? What would it be? If you could tell that child, that inner child you, exactly what you needed to hear when you were feeling like not good enough, when you were trying so hard and as much as you tried, you couldn't meet those expectations when you were feeling like you were disappointing everybody. You're wonderful, you're perfect, you're loved, you're deserving. It's not your fault. What about this? Everything is going to be okay. You are enough. Thank you so much. Please open your eyes. I have news for you. All of you. I have news. Let's move to the news. Federico. Your children need the same things. You need a growing up. When they're in the meltdown, when they're in the tantrum, somebody asking me, what about if they're tantruming on the floor at aisle 6 at Target? When they're in the tantrum, when they're defiant, when they're struggling to share their toys, when they're struggling to transition, they need the same things you needed growing up. Sometimes they express their needs in the most unlovable ways because they're immature kids. But if your child were here, what would you tell them right now? What would you tell them? Federico otro. So I'm going to share with you the three things you needed as a child to grow up as a secure, emotionally healthy individuals. And these are basically the three things that we develop in our clients to raise secure kids. Otro, por favor. Number one, you needed adults who understood your needs beneath your behaviors instead of trying to power over you. If you have ADHD and you struggle to manage your time and to organize your tasks, they don't need an adult who shame you for not being able to do so. You needed an adult who understood your neurodivergent needs and was able to develop a system that worked for you. Otro, por favor. Number two, you needed adults who knew how to settle you down when you felt agitated, scared, angry, instead of punishing you for having big emotions. Did you know that most strong willed kids are highly sensitive children? The children who kick and hit and scream and throw and bite, they are the most highly sensitive children because they feel their feelings deeply and they express it through their body more than any other child. Those are the ones who need the most understanding, compassion, and love the most. Otro, por favor. You needed adults who knew how to educate you on social emotional skills to express your needs instead of isolating you in a room, yelling at you, or spanking you. Discipline. Listen to this. This is a golden nugget about discipline. Discipline is not having children suffer for not knowing skills, for not knowing how to share, for not knowing the skill of sharing, for not knowing the skill of emotional regulation, for not knowing the skill of waiting patiently, for not knowing the skill of setting boundaries without hitting. They don't need to suffer for not knowing any of those skills. You didn't need to suffer for not knowing those skills. You needed an adult who could guide you through learning those skills so you could communicate without hitting, so you could clean up and clean up on time, so you could feel calm for bed and fall asleep in a timely manner. That's what discipline is. And that's number two. Number three. Otro, por favor. I want to share with you the story of Roberto. He is a very special client because when he came to HIC parenting, he was spanking his daughter. And at some point, he did believe that spanking was the way to raising respectful kids. But one day, the last time he spanked his daughter, he saw her and he saw the fear in her eyes. And that's when he decided to make a change and to work on himself to break out of his reactive pattern. And this is his story. Póngala, por favor.
Or so before I started the parenting coaching, I spanked my daughter that one. I spanked her twice. I remember one time it broke my heart. And I was like, oh my gosh, she is scared of me. After that happened, I said, this does not work. And that's when I was like, okay. I saw your videos on Instagram and I was like, I really resonated with your message. So I understood that. And I was like, okay, I need to do better as a parent.
Roberto,
How do you feel in your parenting after all the work here in HIC parenting with Holly, with the program?
I'm a different parent. I don't know how that, like I tell that to Elena sometimes. We're sitting down and I'm like, babe, I'm a different parent now. And I'm like, I'm proud of us. I think 2 weeks ago, a week ago, I'm like, babe, I was like, I'm proud of us. I'm like, we're different parents. I was like, if we didn't take the class, we'd be completely different. And this really, affects the trajectory. Like if I didn't do this, where would I be in 20 years? That's what I kept thinking. Where would my relationship with my daughter be in 20 years? And so these little things that I've done with the coach on HIC, like, I'm like, oh, I'll be friends with my daughter. She's going to love me. She's not going to be scared of me. She's going to come to me with her problems. I love my dad. And be like, wow.
His daughter used to be a hitter. And guess what happened when he stopped spanking? The hitting behavior went down big time. I have a question for you. He said that in 20 years, he knows he will have a great relationship with his daughter because he decided and he went through this work and he changed the way he relates to her. This is my question. If nothing changes in your parenting right now, if you stay as you are right now at this moment, if nothing changes, what do you think your relationship with your children will be 2 years from now? If nothing changes, if you leave it as is, as how it is, how do you see your relationship with your children 2 years from now? They won't open up to me, talk to me. Thank you for your vulnerability. She will resent me because even not feel safe. Okay. I think it will be fine, but I'm not okay with fine. I want to be better, not confidence, sneaking and lying. They will be isolated in their feelings. I see me yelling and they won't listen. Will stop coming to me having their needs met. I'm scared to know if I don't do something about it. I'm worried he will not love himself. I can love him through his behaviors. If that is you, if what you see in the future is not exactly what you want, it's not the relationship you dream of having with your children before you had children, I have an invitation for you. You don't have to end your children's childhood in frustration and overwhelm. You don't have to. We can help you as we've helped 14,151 parents. Federico, por favor, otro. Otro, por favor. I want to give them the invitation. Otro. Let's go to the invitation, Federico. Before. Right now, you have two paths. You, Maria, Maki, the Maria, Lauren, you have two paths. You don't have to stay as you are. Path number one is the DIY path. You can take these two skills, these two steps, and the three steps that I gave you, understanding your needs, settling your children down from behaviors before discipline, and disciplining them not in punitive ways, but developing skills in them and fully gaining an understanding of your patterns. You can do that on your own. And the intention of this class is to give you everything and you can apply on your own. But if you've been already trying to do things on your own and you know that it doesn't work and you know that you get stuck and then you know that on your own has not been working, I have an invitation for you. The invitation is to allow us to help you. Let's move to the invitation. Information rarely creates change because if it did, all of us would be out of debt just by watching social media content. What creates real change in any area of our lives is professional support and accountability. If you are ready to take a step forward and stop and continue 2025 feeling great in your parenting with professional support, this is the invitation that I have for you. Scan the QR code that you see on the screen. This QR code will take you to for you to book a free one-on-one parenting assessment session with one of our advisors in HIC parenting. This session is not for the parent who's just dabbling and trying to gather information. This session is for the parent who's ready to learn about their unique pattern and who wants to work towards breaking it and parenting their children with peace. We have very limited spots because we are only 3 advisors right now at the moment. So if you don't think you can show up, don't book your call. Otherwise, scan the QR code. Federico, el link por favor en el chat. Federico, he's going to put the link in the chat as well. The first thing that you're going to see is a questionnaire. Respond to those questions as as thoroughly. I hope I said the word right. As good as you can. Because why? Because we study those questions. We prepare for the call with those questions. Okay? So respond to the questions, and at the end, we will show you our calendar. Our calendar fills up quickly. Most of the time, people end up on waiting lists. If for some reason you get to the calendar and there are not available spots, there is a link right there on the calendar where you can put yourself on the waiting list, and we will call you as we open spots in the future. But respond to the questions, answer the questions, and then the next thing that you're going to see is the calendar. Choose a time and a date that you know works for you and your spouse if you have one. When we do these assessments, we assess the entire family dynamic, and the family dynamic is you and your spouse if you have one, and the kids. So don't be with the kids on the call, but with your spouse. So choose a time and a date that works for both of you. And if you're a single parent, of course, a time that works for you. And then commit to show up to the call. Okay? Now, when you are in the pickup line trying to pick up the kids, or when you're in the grocery store, or when you're in the pool, choose a time and a date where you can have a place to talk for about 45 to an hour with us, uninterrupted. Hopefully, when the kids are at school or after their bedtime, or if you can line up babysitting, parents do that all the time. We don't recommend for the kids to be, for you to be actively parenting during the call because it would not be beneficial for anyone. So choose a time and a day that you can commit to this. And then that's it. Another thing before I take a few questions, we have a few minutes before the end of this session, is take a screenshot right now. If for some reason you cannot book the call right now, you have the QR code in your phone, and you can tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, you can go in the calendar, and if there are spots available, then you can book your call. I doubt it, but sometimes it happens. So the link is in the chat, or scan the QR code and go and book your call. What to expect on the call? This is an assessment session. This is not a coaching call. Coaching is we have a plan, we know exactly your pattern, and we have goals, and we have a timeline, and we're helping you apply the roadmap every step, every week. That's coaching. This is an assessment where you are going to gain deeper understanding of your pattern, deeper understanding of how your kids see your pattern. And we are going to give you a recommendation as well of what could help you personally get out of that pattern. And of course, if you want to continue with us as a coaching client, we will let you know how that works. And you will make a decision on the call with your spouse. If it is a yes, you will join us as a coaching client on the call. If it is a no, you will walk out of the call with a great assessment under your belt and a lot of awareness. So before I take questions, parenting questions, could you please, Federico, allow them to unmute? I want them to ask me questions.
Yes.
Okay. Maki, did you book your call?
Yes.
That's amazing. We cannot wait to serve you. Any other question regarding the process of the call or anything before we move into one question of parenting support? Okay. Any question related to the topic of this class? You're welcome, Alex. Alex, were you able to book your call yet? You joined the waiting list. Okay. Okay. You're in the waiting list? Okay, got it. It's okay. Federico, do we still have slots?
Yes, we have.
Okay. So we still have slots for the parents who want to book their calls. So scan the QR code or the link is in the chat. Just go there, answer the questions, and book your call. Okay, so now let's go back to parenting support. Any question regarding the topic of this class? I'm going to get a time and a day with my husband. Okay, Carla, thank you so much. For sure. Federico, could you please go back to one of the stories while people think about their questions? Ok. La que está antes. Ok. Todavía no. So this is Bo. When she joined, her husband, her spouse was not on board. She is a military wife, and her husband, he used to think that this was passive parenting, that is that your spouse, that this doesn't really make a change. He was not on board. Yet he was still struggling with a lot of power struggles with their son, and they were still trying to figure it out. Tips and advice from social media were not cutting it for them. So what happened to Bo? She decided to pull the trigger, and she enrolled in HIC parenting after this class, despite her husband's negative, despite her husband's, being not agreeing with this. And this is what her story is once she enrolled in HIC parenting.
Before you started parenting with understanding, before you enrolled, how was your family dynamic with your son, your husband's parenting?
Prior to finding parenting with understanding, we're just going off videos, off of articles we found and techniques we saw on social media platforms, and it wasn't coming together. It just wasn't. We would see improvements in some places, and then we'd come to a whole different scenario and we wouldn't know what to do. But I did it first, and then him seeing how I approach situations with our son is what really made him come on board fully. Because he noticed that when my son would gravitate towards me, would listen to what I was saying, as opposed to when my husband would come into the room. Now their dynamic between them is completely changed.
A lot of parents tell me, how do I get my spouse on board with this parenting style? What I see as a professional and after working with so many families, I don't see in general that husbands or the other spouse, the spouse, I don't see that they're not on the same page when it comes to what you want. They usually want the same. They want to raise secure children who can have great boundaries, who are great people in society, who are productive members of community. They want the same as you, but they might not necessarily trust the methods because from what I've seen working with so many parents is that the model that the gentle parent gives the other parent is permissive parenting and not respectful parenting. Once they come to HIC parenting, and we work in these three skills for get them knowledgeable about their children's needs, about how to settle children down from their responses, and how to become secure parents without like moving away from limiting beliefs and embracing expansive beliefs. That's when things start to change because the kids start gravitating towards you, towards the gentle parent more than the other one. They start seeing that you gain cooperation a lot easier and then you feel happier overall, and that's when they start looking and trying to find out what you know, because they want it as well. They don't want the power struggles, they don't want to yell, they don't want to spank. They just want their kids to be respectful and to listen and to have a peaceful relationship. So my invitation for you is prove your spouse that respectful parenting is not permissive. Prove your spouse that you can gain your children's cooperation and then you can be a secure parent and they will come around. 9 times out of 10 from the clients that we serve, their spouses come around. And it's when their spouses see that this works, that the dynamic is a lot more peaceful, that the kids are connecting to the parent who is going through this process. Any question? I think I saw questions here, but they were not related to the class. My son is struggling with sharing. Maria, do you have a parent-centric question, which is what we are covering on this class?
Yeah, just one second.
Will we be sent a link of the class? Yes. And please don't go away because you still don't know how to claim your free bonus, your bonus digital guide. Okay,
So
Maria, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to about step two, the things, three things need as a child to grow. Understanding the three things is just, I just wanted to get clarity because I noticed that I will react in a yelling mode. And I generally, when that happens, I have to put myself in check, regulate my emotions, take myself out of the situation. And I just want to make sure that I'm giving my daughter the skills to do that as well. So I don't
Mhm.
know if by me regulating myself, is she gonna learn that from me? And am I doing that correctly as removing myself from this situation?
Mhm. Well, depending of the intention beneath it. So for example, a lot of parents who are in stonewall pattern, they will remove themselves out of the situation because they are unable to cope with the situation and they feel how would I say they're running away from their own dysregulation. That's different. Maria, you mute yourself.
Okay. What I found is, am I able, let's see, unmuted. Okay. I find that I yell when I can't, I guess, rationalize, and she's only 1.5, so obviously she can't rationalize. And so then I find that I have to take myself and give myself a moment to breathe through it. And I do breathing exercises.
Mm-hmm.
And that has helped me. But I never realized that I was a yeller. I did not know that till I had my child.
Okay.
And that has been very shocking for me that I would yell in
Okay.
that way. And I have 3 dogs on top of that. So it just feels very chaotic for me. And
Okay.
I feel that
Is
since
it
I had my
okay if
daughter,
I'm very curious about what takes you to yell, okay?
uh-huh,
So right before you yell, what are you feeling?
overwhelmed, frustrated.
Besides overwhelmed and frustrated, are there any other more tender feelings beneath it?
Mm,
For example, some parents say that they feel sad, they feel powerless, they feel helpless,
I do feel
or
helpless. Yes, I feel
helpless. Okay.
definitely helpless because I feel alone. I don't know if that makes
Alone.
sense, but I literally feel alone.
Okay. If that helplessness could tell you something, like if
Yes.
that, what are you thinking when you're feeling that helplessness?
I feel like I have no solution. I feel, I guess, inadequate,
Okay.
um, unable to como like accomplish what I'm trying to do. And then I feel like a bad parent.
Okay. Okay. So let's go back to the class. I feel like a bad parent and inadequate are beliefs.
Yes. Yes.
So those beliefs is what's creating the reactivity, not when your daughter is not logicking with you.
Okay. Okay. I see.
Okay. Okay.
I see. Okay. So I'm
So
gonna have to
as a
basically
coach,
go back. And can I ask you what question should I ask myself? Because I want to be able to ask myself, okay, what are you feeling? Why are you feeling this way? And I just want to make sure I'm evaluating myself correctly.
okay. So so what's your question?
So when I'm in that moment of yelling, should I be questioning why I'm feeling that way? Should
With
I?
our coaching clients, we
Mhm.
tell like with our coaching clients, how would I say this? The magic is not what we do in reaction to our own reactivity, is what we do before it.
Before
So,
reacting?
so if you were one of our coaching clients, we will develop a plan for you to be able to catch yourself in those thoughts and
Oh, yeah,
beliefs so you don't end up in that reactivity because that's what's causing it. That's what we
that
will.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And we will give you as well ways of connecting with your daughter differently, considering her developmental stage. We will educate you on how she perceives the world and how to communicate with her, considering her age and her particular needs. And that's something that we can do in coaching.
Okay. Thank you. That
You're
helps.
welcome.
I
Yeah, for
appreciate
sure.
that.
Yeah, for sure.
Mama.
Okay. So, Federico, how are we doing? ¿Cómo estamos con los pads? How are we doing with the calls?
We have 3 spots left
We
for this
have
week.
3 spots left. If you want to change the trajectory of your parenting, and you know that you know what you've done so far has not worked the way you want it, this is your opportunity. This is your one in a lifetime opportunity. Just go to the QR code. Les vamos al QR code otra vez. Go to the QR code, answer the questionnaire, and then after that, choose a time and a date that works for you to meet with us one on one for a parenting assessment session. On this session, regardless if you're going to end up being coaching client or not, in this session, you will gain deeper clarity. Maria, especially you, that you brought up that question to me about what's taking you to react, how your children are seeing your parenting, and we will give you our recommendation. based on what we see. Is this free or a paid service? Okay, let me read it again. Scan this QR code to book a free one-on-one parenting assessment session. So Pamela, it is free. Now, if you want to join us as a coaching client, of course, we charge for our coaching services, but the one-on-one parenting assessment is free. Now, I have to say, if you don't see yourself in a coaching process with us as a paid coaching client, I don't recommend you to book the call. You better give the opportunity to a parent who wants to keep moving forward with us. I signed up for the assessment. My husband and I will be in a different places. How does that work? It will be a Zoom call. So he will have his link, you will have your link, and everybody's gonna be taken care of. Don't worry. So if your spouse is in a different location, he can still join remotely. What is the cost of coaching? The cost of coaching depends on your needs and the level of support that you need. So that's something that you will know on the assessment. Um, cool. Awesome. Awesome. Federico, is everything booked out?
No, we have 2 spots left for this week.
Okay. It's fine. It's fine. I want to end with a last testimonial, and after that, I'm going to dismiss this call. Let's go to Lisa. Aquí, párela ahí. Todavía no, todavía no. Lisa and her husband, they were both busy professionals. They didn't know if they could commit to coaching, but they were tired of reading books and nothing working. They felt like they didn't have a person, a professional to ask them questions. So they just decided to come on board as coaching clients because they were living so many power struggles with their 3-year-old. And this is their story.
What would you tell a parent who's on the fence, who's there, how you were 14 weeks ago?
In 14 weeks, you can have tools that let you be the parent I know you want to be. And you can either spend the money in all the books and the time that you would be learning everything that is so beautifully placed together in one area over the next 15, 20 years, or you can just do it in one shot right now and learn it all and have the resources at your fingertips. So I would say, if you're on the fence, fall on the side of just getting it, because you're going to absolutely love your family unit and how you guys communicate with each other, and you'll be that family that other people are like, so where did you, what's the name of the parenting school that you went to?
So that was Lisa. After the fact, once she graduated from coaching, we realized that she's famous. She's in Netflix. I'm like, wow, we coach a famous person and we didn't know, but we feel so honored that she decided with her husband to come to HIC parenting. Okay, so we are coming to the end. Let's go to the bonus. Federico. Okay. For all 28 of you who hang around until this point, you can claim your live attendee bonus lesson, and this is how you can do it. Take a screenshot right now of these instructions because this is what you need. Number 1, email info@hicparenting.com. Number 2, give us a positive review about this masterclass. This is what I'm not looking for, and this is what I'm looking for. What I'm not looking for, hey, Marcela, the class was great. Where is my bonus? No, just let us know genuinely how do you think the things that you experience in this class could help you in your parenting moving forward. And number 3, we'll reply back with info to access your coping strategies guide, which is our bestseller digital guide with child-centric tools to help your kids manage their emotions. It's for toddlers and up. This bonus expires tonight, so make sure that you send your email today to be able to access this bonus. Take a screenshot of these instructions or take note of it, and I cannot wait to see the reviews for this class. Nah, Shelly, I was confused about time. I'm in California. My appointment is for 10 a.m. Is that PST? Federico, what time zone are the appointments in? ¿Qué time zone tienen?
It depends of where are
It
you.
is shown as the time zone of the parent, right?
Yep.
Okay. So the calendar is shown on your time zone. So whatever time you choose is your time zone.
You can change it in in the calendar. You have the option of change
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Will we get a link to this class recording? Yes, you will in your email. We will send you a recording. I've been distracted by my baby. It's okay. Thank you all so much. Let's go back to the main room. Let's go back to the main room.
We have one spot left for
Ah, we
the.
have one spot left.
Yep.
Okay. Quita la presentación, por favor. I want to take a little picture. If you could please turn on your cameras and wave hello. Let's do a little for the gram. Let's do it for the gram. Turn on your cameras. If it's okay, turn on your cameras. Say hello. I see beautiful faces. I see beautiful babies. Makes me want to have another baby, but I'm I like sleeping, so I don't know. Maybe I just enjoy the babies that I see. Better that way. Wave hello. Hold on. Boomerang, boomerang. Wave hello. Thank you so much, everybody. Charmine, Maki, Maria, Emily, Andrea, Samantha, Di Maria, Alda, Stephanie, Alice, Jose. Thank you so much for joining us on this class. And I want to tell you that it only takes a secure parent to raise a secure child. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you big time.
We're welcome. Bye bye.